You guys know that feeling when you walk into a room and it's like you walked into a totally another world? No? Well, that's fine. You see, I've always been an explorer of sorts, always seeking new things. You know, new experiences, new everything, actually. And the whole reason behind that actually got started from an old 1950s mobster film, you know, black and white. I was in love with that movie. You know, it was your usual kind of, you know, gangster mows everybody down with a gun kind of movie. But, you know, hey, whatever inspires you, right? Well, you see, tonight was supposed to be just another ordinary night at the bar. And so, you know, I'm just kind of walking around town and I'm noticing that everybody's, you know, kind of not in this area. I don't exactly know why. But hey, what was I going to say about it? You know, I'm usually not down over here. And then I see it. A nightclub called Moonlight. And I figure, hey, why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's go find out what's in there. So I park my car and I open those doors and I walk in. And the first thing that I notice is the way everybody's dressed. People in zoot suits and, you know, and those cheap old hats they used to wear back in the day. And you know something? I felt at home here. Because this looked just like out of a scene out of my favorite movie. And you know, to sort of test the waters, I walked up to the musician and I said, "Hey son, how about you put something on that's a little more my style?" The man just gave me a grin and a nod and started playing this. Next thing I know, I'm going with it, getting in the beat. And so I start looking around and I find a table. And I sit down and this nice little waitress walks right on over and says, "Well, you have, hon." And I look her in the eyes and I smile and I said, "How about a tall glass of scotch? And maybe once you're back, how about a little company?" She gives me a smile and, you know, and writes it down on the pad she has and turns around and walks right away. Sitting here grinning to myself, I'd never felt so alive. I'd never felt so open, so, what's the word I'm looking for? So right. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just going with it. This man they got, he ain't bad. Probably one of the local boys. Wasn't all that tall either. Probably about 5'8", 5'9". And you know, after a little bit I'm, you know, giving people some nods and some folk are waving at me and I wave back. Notice that it's a nice little spot they have here. Waitress comes back after, I don't know, about a minute and a half. Gives me a nod and puts my scotch right on the table. I start sipping at it and she sits down next to me and next thing I know I'm caught in a world of more or less mindless chatter. Asking her how she's doing, what she's doing, what she does for fun around this place, and how long's it been around. So she looks at me and she tells me that pretty much she's been a waitress here since she was 18. And the thing is that this place has apparently been around since the 1920s. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. I ain't never heard of this place before. But hey, in the streets of Chicago, you never know what you'll find. She tells me she's going to be off in about 10 minutes. So she gets up, walks over to the counter, and starts serving others. I wait there for about a couple minutes, thinking I've finally found someone that I can have a good time with. I get up and I decide to wait outside, thinking that that was one of the best places I'd ever been. I was thinking about recommending it to a friend. Eventually, more than 5 minutes pulls on by. And now I'm starting to get a little worried. Because I'm like, she said she was going to be out in just like 10 minutes. So, deciding that maybe I should, check up on her, see if everything's okay on the inside. Plus, hey, if for some reason she's not ready yet, I really like the groove of this whole, this whole area. So I decide to walk in. But the problem is that the door's shut. Well, it's more than just shut, it's locked. It's like deadbolt and, and chain and regular lock kind of shut. And I'm just looking around and I'm like, alright, maybe it's about closing time. So I check my watch. It's only like 11:50. So it shouldn't be closed yet. I mean, it is a nightclub after all. I look up to check to see if the sign's lights are on, because who knows? Maybe this was a daytime club. Maybe it was just a late night. I mean, they did seem like they had, like a 50s theme decor. Maybe I just walked in the middle of something. So, kind of reconciling myself to wait for a little bit. Eventually, somebody was walking by, and I asked them if they knew the hours of this place, this Moonlight that I was sitting next to. Guy looks at me and he goes, "Yeah, it's closed." Closed? So early? Yeah, as in been closed for like 45 years. What are you talking about? How is it? Why is it? I was just in there. They had some good music playing. Nah, you don't get it. It's been closed 45 years tonight. There was a shooting inside. Almost nobody made it out. Something to do with an alcohol run gone bad, or heck, we don't know. It's just another mob shooting. A lot of people died. Cute little waitress. The band died along with their singer. It was really tragic. It was all over the newspapers. This really was a good place back in the day, or at least so my grandfather says. I ain't never been in there. I just stared at him. I didn't really know what to say. This place had been closed, but I was just in there. How could it be closed? I turned around and I saw that the sign that I had seen before is no longer lit up and now looked old and rusted and broken. The door was also boarded shut. And I sat and I thought to myself that I'd had an amazing 5 or 6 minutes in there. But you know something? Sometimes it's just worth it to, you know, walk into a new place and experience a new world. Even though that was tragic, that is a night I'll never forget.
Sunrise in the east goes down